What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another off-camera highlight reel. Starting off here with 6 runs in the first inning against our rival Cardinals, capped off here by a perfect home run from Noelvi Marte. And then later in that same game, we're already up 10-1. And to add insult to injury, TJ Friedel hits a line drive off the face of Steven Matz. Something that in real life would be pretty scary to see, but in a video game, it's just kind of funny. And yes, he did take a pretty good pop to the face. This was the final line score from that game: 19 runs, 26 hits for us. Everyone in the lineup got at least 2 hits and an RBI, except for Ellie De La Cruz, who went 1 for 6 with no RBIs. Offered an interesting trade from the Rockies, Zach Veen for Chase Petty straight up. I ultimately declined it just because with the addition of someone like Pico Armstrong, we don't really need another outfield prospect. Right here, ended up robbing a home run off of Matt Olson, something that I very rarely get to do. So that was kind of a cool moment. And then in that same game, Matt Olson kind of has this weird, wonky fielding play. He tries to catch it, he drops it, and then he tries to barehand it, can't bring it up. And then he tries to tag out Matt McLean, misses the tag, and McLean was safe. We ended up losing that game, but still some cool moments from that game. And then right here, obviously I've tinkered with the, situational settings. And I want to go in only when it's like a really high leverage, middle late inning situation. And right here, bases loaded in the bottom of the 6th against the Braves. We get a meatball fastball down the middle, and we time it up, but we just foul it off. But then the next pitch, Lopez tries to go off speed, and we are sitting on it right down the middle, and that is a grand slam for Matt McLean and would ultimately lead us to winning that game. So kind of cool that we jump in and hit a grand slam right there. And then another trade offer that was given to us by the Guardians, so the fellow Ohio team, they're offering us James Karinchak, who's kind of a polarizing reliever, very emotional guy, has had some up and downs in his career, but 29 years old, B potential, 78 overall, and they want him straight up just for Fernando Cruz, who he's having a great year, as you see with the 1.09 ERA, but he's 35. He's getting worse, and I was honestly kind of shocked they just wanted to do this straight up. As you see there by the trade interest meter, we were definitely getting the better part of the trade, and I considered it. I was like, should we take this? Is this fair? I mean, Cruz is having a great year, and I said, why not? He's younger. He has team control left, and he's only going to get better. So I ended up taking that trade, so we get a new young piece in the bullpen. On to the video now.
What is going on, everybody? My name is Jake, and welcome back to MLB The Show 24 franchise with the Cincinnati Redlegs. Last time we did the kind of the prospect showcase where we played with some of our top guys in the minor leagues. We did the MLB draft, and then we did the All-Star break. And this part, we're going to be doing the trade deadline. So similar to last year, it'll be a quicker episode. Won't be a ton going on, but I'm definitely going to be making one move in this, that is for sure. Unlike last year, we really didn't do much. I'm sure I'll put it in for the the pre-video like highlights or just kind of the roundup for what's happening. But we were offered a trade by the in-state Guardians. They wanted Fernando Cruz, who's having a heck of a year, and they gave us James Karinchak in exchange. And so we're inheriting a higher overall younger player who's going to want more money, but he has a year of arbitration after this, which is a big reason why I accepted it, because he doesn't hit the market right away. So it's not necessarily a rental. We can keep him around for next year. He really burst onto the scene in 2022. Well, more so 2020, he kind of came on, but 2022 was his best year with a 2.08 ERA. He's been kind of up and down, but the ERA has never been horrible for a bullpen guy. You want to see it certainly around 3 or below 3. He's a very fiery guy, very emotional guy, has a lot of control issues in real life. In this game, he has a 65 control rating, but he does have some pretty nasty stuff, as you see with the 99 break rating. And I didn't know if I wanted to accept it or not, just because it's like, okay, this is a guy we might have to commit to for the long term. But again, seeing as how he has another year of team control after this, I went ahead and just pulled the trigger on it. So we add him. We added Gregory Soto earlier in the year. So those are 2 guys we've added through trades. that could be part of our bullpen in the future because, as you see here, the only guy before we made those trades that was below the age of 31 in our bullpen was Alexis Diaz. Um, Antone's 31, Sam Mole's 33, Pagan 33, Chabot 31, Suter 35. So these guys are starting to get up there in age. So we get some younger guys here with Karinchak. Lucas Sims was obviously already on the team, and Soto. Not that they're super, super young, but definitely won't be deteriorating as soon. Um, as far as other moves in the league, there's been some pretty notable ones. The big one, Zach Geloff, who's the Athletics' best player, traded to the Phillies for Andrew Painter, who's the Phillies' top prospect in real life, although he is injured. But really good pitching prospect, and then they added a middle infield guy as well. So that was a notable move that was made. I already looked at it. He'll probably platoon here with Amundo Sosa. Pretty good player. Really the A's only bright spot, or one of their only bright spots recently. 26 homers, 83 ribbies last year, so pretty good. Um, yeah, basically a 5 WAR player. So big loss for the A's, but they're still in the permanent rebuild. They have Jacob Wilson, who's a nice pick in, or a nice piece in the infield, but yeah, they still got a long ways to go. But, you're seeing more and more guys here with good potential. Andrew Painter, 21 years old, a potential pitcher. He could fit along. I know Mason Miller's a closer in real life, but he's got the starter stamina. He's actually been really nasty as a closer. But as a starter here, he'll form a nice 1-2 punch with Painter. Um, and then Reese Hoskins went to the Astros. Um, Seth Brown to the Giants. Nick Senzel, I think I already went over that. So a couple, notable trades being made. Last year there wasn't really much happening. And like I said, I'm going to be making a trade. So um, I've kind of decided who to trade here based on a multitude of factors. Team control certainly factors into it, like how much, control we have, their rating. So like what would we get back for them? And Jonathan India, obviously, we can't trade because he's injured. So if you try, it'll say this player's injured, cannot be traded. Um, I'm not going to trade Will Benson. He's having too good of a year. His trade value won't be as high, and we have a ton of team control. He's only 26 still, so good to keep him. I'm not going to trade Stuart Fairchild, who is a little bit older, having a career year, but again, ton of team control, will be a very good bench platoon option for us, and good defense, good speed. Every team needs that. So by process of elimination, you can kind of put 2 and 2 together. I'm going to be looking to trade Jake Fraley here. He got off to a really hot start this year and was like, oh, maybe we'll keep him around, but he is really tapered off, both in games that I play and in sim. He doesn't strike out a lot. He's a very disciplined hitter, but he can only hit one side. He does have good clutch, so it's going to kind of suck to lose that. But yeah, just hasn't been as consistently good. It doesn't have, he's solid everywhere, but I don't know. He's valuable enough that we can get something good for him, but not too valuable where it's a big loss to lose him. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and do the trade finder here. Now, I kind of played around with this off camera leading up to this to kind of see and gauge, what could we get for him. And I don't want to completely, abuse the system. And because I remember in MLB The Show 23, when I played franchise with the Reds, I got Tarek Skubal from the Tigers for like Luke Maley, and I can't remember who the other player was. It was nothing. It wasn't anything worth Tarek Skubal, who's the ace of the Tigers. So, kind of want to make this sort of realistic, and I'm actually getting worse offers than what I was getting off camera. Off camera, I was getting some offers for guys with like A potential and young guys with B potential, but not so much anymore, which is a little bit surprising. But I also don't really know exactly what I'm looking for. Now this trade right here kind of sticks out to me just because catchers are really hard position for you to hit on, so you can get a C potential catching or B potential catching prospect there. Um, right here, they're giving us a ton of players. Um, we could add to the bullpen a little bit more. I also don't want to take on a trade that's going to hurt us financially. So I want that budget to be going up in our favor after whatever trade. I'm kind of surprised at the trades we're getting because he was fielding some pretty good offers when I was doing this earlier off camera. Now, right there, we could get this is actually a pretty solid trade. We could get a potential pitcher, so that's certainly an option. But as far as 40 man guys go, I think Nick Lofton's on the 40 man, so maybe we could look at that. Um, but again, I'm not really super set on what I'm trying to get. Um, we could get a middle infield prospect there with Davison De Los Santos from the Guardians, but again, we really don't need middle infield guys. Dylan Dingler's be potential catcher, but he's already 26, which again isn't old, but um, look to get 43 overall. Kyle Morehouse. That's just how are you that bad? Um, yeah, I'm a little surprised. I thought we'd be getting some better offers, but I guess not. Maybe I'll have to try to package him with someone else, but I'll kind of look around and um, when I find an offer I like, I'll come back uh, and show you what we got working with. All right, so I will be back in a second. Just wanted to show this because I was playing around just out of curiosity. I don't know if like players' recent performances affects trade value, but like for a guy like Stuart Fairchild, we're able to yield an A potential closer. Now I'm not going to take this deal, but I just thought it was interesting to kind of point that out that Stuart Fairchild's a 74 overall and about the same age. Actually, he might be older than Jake Fraley, who's an 80 overall, but we're getting some better trade offers here for him. But again, Stuart Fairchild is on a hot streak, so I don't know if that factors into this because, again, 18-year-old be potential closer there because Jake Fraley is on a cold streak, so that might play into it. But I just thought that was something to point out there. Yeah, that's it. Now, kind of coming back to this, I went ahead and packaged Connor Overton with Jake Fraley, and now we're starting to see some much better offers. Like we're getting more prospects in here. Garrett Crochet is an A potential guy. So packaging him with a guy like Connor Overton, who really doesn't really have a future, in my opinion, with this team, definitely yields some. Again, I don't want to cheese this and take some team's top prospect for a platoon guy, and then a guy like Connor Overton who maybe could develop into the fifth starter on a roster. So I kind of want to be a little fair with this. Like you get Ryan Helsley, an 89 overall, a potential bullpen guy. Drew Jones, yeah, some of these. Again, they're great offers, but I kind of want to approach this a little more realistically. But it's just kind of weird that all we have to do is add a guy like Connor Overton, and we're getting such better offers. But then for just Jake Fraley, it's really nothing, nothing great, honestly. But I don't know. Again, I'll keep kicking it around, and I'll come back once we find an offer. All right, I think I've finally found the trade I'm going to make. So I packaged Connor Overton with Fraley, obviously, and then I also threw in Jacob Hurtubise. I don't know. Yeah, he's on the 40-man roster because he played in a little. I don't even know how many games he played in 2023. But I just want him off the 40-man mostly because he's 27. He's a 60 overall. And he has deep potential. He's never going to play for us. So that frees up a 40-man spot. Obviously, Fraley. Don't have a ton of control on him anymore, and he's just a platoon guy. It's just how it is. Then Connor Overton, a guy who we let go in the Rule 5 draft this year, wasn't taken. He's only getting worse, even though he's on a hot streak right now, and is having a pretty good year in AAA. We'll get rid of him. In return, we get Jake McCarthy, who has a lot more team control under him. 27 years old, B potential, extremely fast, and I love really, really fast dudes, and especially in the outfield that can cover ground. He's getting better. I'll probably have him in AAA just to start, because again, we already have the outfield depth. And then Andres Chaparro is a 25-year-old corner infielder. We could use some corner infield depth, especially at first base, because as you see, outside of Christian, everyone has deep potential, and even third base. Noel V and Cam Collier are there, but kind of mediocre. The rest of there, so that's a good get. And then Michael Joseph, who was taken, I would assume, in last year's draft, is a B potential starter. 60 overall, but he is getting better, and obviously, as an 18-year-old, first year in the pros, he's going to have a ton of team control. So let's go ahead and make this trade with the D-backs. And that sends Jake Fraley away, which obviously sucks to see him go. I'm going to go ahead and send Jake McCarthy down to AAA. Obviously, the fielding and speed is super useful, but we want to see kind of the hitting and power get a little bit better. So let's go ahead and send him down to AAA. And we will bring up Christian Encarnacion Strand. As you see, having a good year at AAA. Everything's going up outside the power against lefties, which is surprising because he has an 813 OPS, so you figured he'd be doing pretty good in that regard. But we're going to call him back up to the majors. Yes, I know Pico Armstrong is higher overall, but I still want to see the hitting get a little bit better in terms of the power and stuff. And he missed a lot of time with the broken ankle, which probably affected that. Well, not probably. I know it affected that. So I want to see the power and vision stuff get a little bit better. Whereas Christian, the vision still isn't where it needs to be, but the power and ability to make hard contact is much better. He slugged 427 for us last year, was pretty solid. So we'll bring him back up. So Jake McCarthy will go down to AAA. So I'll have to do some playing around with the AAA and AA lineups because, yeah, as you see, we have a ton of outfielders here at the AAA level. So just kind of looking at how that will immediately affect the roster. So Will Benson will play in the outfield, and then I will DH Jamer and put Christian at first. So let me go ahead and move Benson over to right field. So that's where he'll fit in there, and he's going to get to play, pretty much every day because the majority of pitchers are going to be right-handers. So he's going to get a lot more at-bats. I'm kind of betting on him. He's obviously having a great year with, almost 1,000 OPS. So, he gets a vote of confidence here. Stuart Fairchild will obviously still platoon. CES, we're going to let him play every day. See how he figures it out, essentially. This will allow Spencer Steer to stay at second base full-time and also allow Matt McClain to play center field full-time, and we'll have really good outfield coverage against lefties. And I'll mess with the lineup orders a little bit more later. And then, let's see. Okay, our minor league teams do play, so it'll be good to set their lineups. But, again, obviously, the biggest thing we're doing, Jake McCarthy fits in the lineup, and I'll have to move guys around. Like, obviously, he can't play third base. So I will figure that out. Probably send Austin Hendrick down. Yeah, that'll probably be the move. And then he'll fit into left field, and then we'll need someone to play third base, which Austin Callahan could probably do that. So, yeah, that'll work out fine. And then as far as Michael Joseph goes, he's at AAA right now. I'll probably send him down because he's a 60 overall. Don't want to rush him too much. We do have the spot open in AAA now that Connor Overton is in there. And wouldn't you know it, perfect guy to promote, Chase Petty. So he will come up and take Overton's spot in the AAA rotation. We will send Michael Joseph down to AA. And who's that other guy we got? Right here. Andres Chaparro. Right now fits in pretty well as the first baseman. He can also play third. So kind of looking at that. So let's go ahead and get Austin Hendrick out of here. So yeah, that'll be kind of how it filters out. Chaparro will play third. Yeah, it looks pretty good. So honestly, in terms of both Major League allowing a guy like CES to come up and he's going to play every day, need to start getting some development at the Major League level from him and that A potential. He's our first baseman, excuse me, of the future. So need to start seeing that. Um, and then our minor league guys will be able to. We'll send Austin Hendrick down so that he can play every day in Double A and develop there. He's still only 23, so I'm not going to be too impatient with him. He was the Reds' first round pick in 2020. Kind of the same boat as Jay Allen. We're going to be patient with them, and we just acquired more outfield depth than obviously our picks last year on the outfield. So kind of starting to face a similar issue to what we had with the infield before we traded away Sal Stewart. Um, where we're going to have a ton of guys in the outfield now that are coming up and need playing time. Before it was the infield, now it's the outfield that have it. But again, it's a good problem to have. You can never not have too much talent, like that's never a bad thing. So I'm pretty happy with that trade. Um, yeah, I think it's a fair one. I didn't want to cheese and take guys' top prospects. You know, I was getting trade like the Brewers were going to give me Freddie Peralta, like the Ryan Helsley trade from the Cardinals. Like there were some good players that they would have given us, and I'm just like, I don't want to exploit it too much. I honestly feel like I kind of took a cheesy trade from the Guardians, but I don't know. Like bullpen guy is not as big of an impact, I suppose. But this one, I feel like it's super fair. Kind of looking at how those guys fit in. Connor Overton at single A. It's funny. He could maybe push them to be their fifth starter. Who knows? Obviously, Jacob Hurtubise probably won't really play that much, but Fraley, you probably platoon him somewhere. I mean, the Diamondbacks are loaded. They have a really good roster, so it'll be interesting to see where Fraley fits in there. But probably a platoon guy. But again, we had too many platoon outfielders, so good to give one up. And thank you, Jake Fraley, for your service. But we're going to move on without you. So, again, I'll kind of finagle with the lineup. Like, I'm kind of looking at this now. Actually, Benson. I'll have Marte sixth because he has the better clutch. Benson seven. Yeah, that'll work. And then yeah, I'll finagle with it more off camera, but that'll do it for this. I'd imagine there probably won't be any other trades that go down, considering it is a trade deadline day. So any trades that would have happened would have been done by now. Um, so yeah, our first trade deadline move of the franchise, and I feel like it's a fair one and one that will benefit us in the long haul, and allows us to get some more playing time for guys who are having career years or are our top prospects who need to come up and contribute. So, yeah, that'll do it for this part. A little more exciting than last year's trade deadline. Next time, we'll probably look to highlight one of these series here in August as we get to playoff push, or maybe I'll just wait until this series against the Pirates in September, where we'll do September call-ups. We could do this Diamondback series. That would be a blackout game. Could be a good one. I'm struggling to talk. I need to go to bed too. I just finished watching the entire first round of the draft. My Colts took Leo to Latu in the first round, which we'll see how that works out. I'm certainly not opposed to it. He has a neck injury that he was advised to retire a few years ago, so obviously risky with that, but he could be a freaking beast off the edge, and they need that because they're 28th in pressure rate. But I'm playing a baseball game right now, so why am I talking about football? Anyway, that'll do it for this part. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time, probably at the end of August or for September call-ups. All right, see you guys then. Have a good day. Whoa, just wait a second. I got so caught up with the trade deadline and, moving our lineups and rotations and roster around that I completely forgot that it's the deadline to sign draft picks. And I've signed everyone except for Mr. Pedro Aguilar here. So I'm just going to offer him the, yeah, he's got 69% interest with 700K. So take it. And there we go. So I just want to go on record here of for the second year in a row. So I'm going to have to sim this game here. And we win again. Holy crap. We just cannot stop winning. Let's see what happened here. Will Benson homered in the first game where we're saying, hey, you're the guy here in right field. And Christian Encarnacion Strand got on twice with walks. So there we go. Love to see that. Who pitched? Graham Ashcraft, 8 innings of shutout ball. Very, very good. But anyway, let's take a look at our draft picks. And okay, not too hot. Like I said, I didn't do as good of a job with scouting this year. So I said I wanted to hit on at least 2 guys. And it's funny that the 2 guys we hit on that are B potential or higher, that's what I consider a hit, are the 2 guys where we took basically shots in the dark with at the end of the draft. Ken Jacobson and Patrick Hill. Patrick Hill with 93 potential, but he's a 47 overall as a 22-year-old. The hit tools are okay, but the fielding and stuff is awful. Ken Jacobson, 53 overall. So it's like, how are we? I mean, Jeff Casado, 48 overall. Pedro Aguilar, 63. Jackie Dunham, 60. And Jimmy Jenkins, our first round pick, is a 54 overall with C potential. So I'm not going to lie, we kind of bricked on this draft, but that's okay. At least Aguilar has a 63 overall, so maybe he could, start off in Double A or something. And we did get an A potential guy, so I guess not a complete loss. But our first round pick being a 54 overall with C potential. I mean, he's good in the field. He's got good speed, so maybe he could have a role. I thought Jackie Dunham, a closer, would have better potential. I don't know. At least no one was a D potential or worse, so that's good. Kind of look around. The Pirates hit on their first round pick, Anthony Hargrove. There's a 90 potential guy. I don't want to take Tom Spasato. I know he was a pretty high pick at a 93 potential, 70 overall to start. A lot of green there for the Giants. Seeing some guys that go unsigned. Jaime Santo, 89 potential. He looks to be pretty good right away. The Rays, wow, look at this. The Rays only signed 2 draft picks. That's crazy. A 93 potential reliever, so that's good for them. And then a 71 potential third baseman who will never see the light of day in the pros. But wow, 5 out of their 7 draft picks not signed. Wow, Luis Marquez, 99 potential, 68 overall. That's another really good pitching prospect for the White Sox. They have the number 1 prospect in baseball, Julio Nava. So, and actually, I was watching the other day. I was just kind of going back on some of the old episodes I've made, and Julio Nava was on the board, but we took Waylon Gonzalez, which wasn't a bad pick because Waylon Gonzalez is an A potential. So, Sherwood Pennock, the number 1 overall pick, back-to-back years for the Guardians, is 88 potential. 72 overall, so pretty solid coming out right away. They did not sign their second-round pick, Sammy Vina. So I can't remember what their number 1 pick last year was. I don't think it was that great. So this one's a little bit better. A lot of CMB guys here for the Tigers. Astros don't sign their first pick. The A's miss on Dan Westbrook. Yeah, he's D potential 58 overall first round pick, and he was a high pick too, so that's tough for them. They did make it up a little bit with some of these next picks, but yeah, that's tough. These guys are starting off very, very low overall. 53 potential. That is brutal. Johan Muriel for the Mariners. Another 99 potential guy, Carmen Cisneros. That's a fun name, and he's got rockin' whatever that facial hair is. A potential, 99 potential closer for the Rangers, and their first round pick, Kyle Chen, was pretty good too. The Braves, I remember they had a 99 potential guy last year, not nearly anything like that this year. Travis Gomez has some really good power against lefties. He's coming in at A potential 71 overall, so we'll probably see him pretty quickly here for the Marlins, who have been bad both years of this franchise so far. So yeah, honestly, our guy Patrick Hill's one of the highest or potentials that I saw. We saw a couple. There's a 93 for the Pirates, a 93 for the Rockies. So once again, we're at least getting guys who are at the upper echelon of potentials. I mean, good for the White Sox. They're really hitting on their pitching picks. Because again, if we go to the top prospects, oh, Julio Navas number 2 now. So yeah. But anyway, now that will do it. I'll look into some contract extensions off camera, and then I'll look into some of the ratings changes because it is the start of a new month, and that's usually when the ratings update for players. So I'll look into that. But yeah, now that'll do it. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time for likely September columns. All right, see you later.